Hey, what's going on, guys? We're going to do some artwork this morning. Give me a second to catch up on my signal here so I can hear it, make sure my volume is balanced properly, and mic check, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, it sounds pretty good. There we go. Let's drop that volume down there so it stays out of the way. I'm going to grab the link here. I've got like 3 social media posts to update, and then we'll get started. So if you want to skip ahead a minute, because you've already seen me go through this process of bumbling around for a minute, then God bless you. Please do skip ahead a minute. I'll see you on the other side. For those that are new to the channel, my name is Phil Kearney. What's up? Hey, I make role-playing games. I illustrate them and I publish them online. And we're creating content for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition 2024. We're making an adventure for the Eberron campaign setting. As you can see here this is the book cover, Crystals of a Bar. Looks like my medias are all done. So let me go ahead and just get out of my own way here real fast. I'll finish up the intro here with some quick book shilling. You can see my artwork and ideas on DMsGuild. Here's a number of links to books that I have created or participated in. They all have free previews. Check them out. I'm particularly excited about the Spelljammer Combat and Exploration document that we created and the Color Mana Spell Point Variant Rules system to use Magic the Gathering Color Mana instead of Spell Points and Vancian Magic. Instead of Vancian Magic and Schools of Magic from D&D tradition. This is making a change to that. So, yeah, check it out. And then... like, subscribe, hit the bell icon, notifications, and we're live in the future, yada, yada. Book cover, episode 40, that's out of the way. We're now on episode 604 and closing in on being finished. This is the 16:9 format that we're creating the adventure in. It is it's a PDF document that you download and then use on a tablet, any kind of device. The 16:9 ratio means that the breadth of this is filling your device space here, whether it's a large screen monitor, a phone, or a tablet. And then each column is also 16:9, so you can read this. Once it's built, I'll be able to show you. You can look at this one column at a time. But you can set your display device. It's a 12-point font, so it's an easy read. You can set it behind your your DM screen if you're playing in the flesh, and then you'll have the tablet there. You can just tab through page by page to get to the end. And if you're online, I keep it as a side rail. I can always see at least one column at a time off the side of the Roll20 screen that I'm using. It's like this space here. Oops. Here. This space here, like basically these 2 columns get eaten up by Roll20 information, and then this other third of the screen over here stays open for me to be able to see what's actually going on inside, what's going on in the moment with where they're at, so I can page through up and down over here on the left-hand side and still keep my Roll20 VTT up in this larger square space over here. So, okay, so that's a really great system. It works incredibly well. Thanks a lot to anyone that's checking this stuff out, and I'm going to drop the screen down here. This is the Blood Golem that we're working on today, and it is going to be finished. You can see it's already pretty far along. I just want to work on these. I don't know what these things are called. Whatever these bands are, but they've been prevalent in a number of pieces that we've done so far. So I'm remaining consistent in having them here as well. Let's see, that goes like that, and then this goes like, this goes like this. So we're just going to be working on striations for a little bit here. I think that's a proper word usage here, striation. I don't know. Anyway, we're working on this for a while, and then once we're finished with that, we'll probably look for ichor and goop to be able to layer in on top of it some more. And then we should be good to go, and we'll start up something new tomorrow. So... Oh, I see what's happening here. Right. There's a tip here, but it's hidden in the shadow, so I'm probably going to have to add. I don't really want to. so I'm not, you can barely see it in there. It exists. Man, it'll probably do. All right, we'll figure it out. Okay, back on track. So this one is between the coils, so it's going to have a lot of shadow into it. This is what we're going to be doing a lot of is breaking the highlights and shadows of these striations. I still don't know if that's the right word. There, like that. And with God's grace, I'll have stuff to ramble about, so it'll be fun hanging out. We'll see if I can. We'll see if I can deliver that. So this is really coming along. We've been working on this for off and on, literally for years, and it's coming to a close here pretty soon. Maybe late December. Definitely, I keep sliding back and retreating on my end time as I recognize more and more things to do. But I think I've ran out of things to do. Like we're on our last list of things to do to publish the thing, and so that means it's imminent, and we should have it published here. I'm thinking I've got like 7 more monsters to either build or redo. But this one's more intense than any of the other ones, so it should only take, like, some of these things could take like two episodes. Some of them could take 4. There's like 7 of them left, so for averaging 3, 21. So the monsters will all be done by around Christmas time. Meanwhile, off screen, I'm working on hyperlinking stuff and adjusting the maps so that they are we're extracting squares, 5-foot squares from the maps to create a map key. It's like, this is a hedge. It provides cover, like little spots like that on the pages where the maps are located, so that the DM can better narrate the challenges and hazards and difficulties that the team's going to face. So I'm working on the maps on the side, hyperlinking stuff. And then once we get the maps and the hyperlinking done, then I start creating the spaces where all the pictures drop into, and then we drop all the pictures into those spaces. This is a huge document. It's 100 pages of 16 by 9, which is effectively 200 pages of normal adventure, of normal page size. Like, it's 16 by 9 is basically 2 letters, letter sheets A4s broad. So that means that 100 pages at this size is effectively 200 pages of content. So I have 200 pages of content for me to load images into, and I use Microsoft Word. So there is a mild concern that if I try to directly import all of the images into the Word file while I'm actively working on it, it'll probably cause it to crash. I'm very concerned about this. So I haven't actually encountered it though, even though we've gone up to like 800 megabytes of a work in progress file in Word that compresses down to about 30 megabytes as a PDF. The program isn't intended to be used, like they don't claim stability after 500 megabytes worth of content in a Word document, in an open Word document. So I have no idea if I can actually import all of the image elements, but I believe what I can do, and I have to test this, so we'll be testing this week, is I should be able to create a subfolder inside on my computer where the Word document is at, and when I open the document, it will then fetch all the images from the file location on my computer and load them into the program or into the boxes that I put them for them to be viewed. So if that works, then we can make a document of nearly any size inside of Microsoft Word and have very little friction from the from the actual program itself, which is exciting. I'm hoping that I'm hoping that's accurate. So I have to test it, and we'll find out. And if not, we'll figure out what we need to do. We'll just have to prayer with bubblegum from there. But yeah, if that filing works, then I'm just going to start using that all the time, because it's a good way to keep my my data organized anyway. So I'm excited about that. Right now I'm just thinning these things down so that they conform to the other ones, the general shapes. We're going to add little embellishes and ruffles and stuff like that, or whatever it is that they need. Right now we're just creating uniformity in the base striations, and then we're going to add another layer on top of this to start mucking them about and dirtying them up and stuff. Here, there we go. Tap there. Bring that down. So on Mondays and Thursday nights, I stream game design for the PDFs that we create that we then illustrate. So, God, I like this lighting today. This is really good lighting. I'm really happy with that. So it's Monday here in the real world of the now. And so we'll be doing some game design this evening. That's typically at 6:30 p.m. PST, which is 9:30 Eastern Time. Pacific Standard Time PST is -8 UTC. So that's like what, 10:30 a.m. Europe time, like German time. This is looking pretty good. It's looking consistent. I can start once I'm content with these basic shapes and the overall lighting. Like I have to, like, this is lighter than this is for no reason. So I have to come back through here and I have to add in some highlights here so that it matches the lighting curve of the camera. And we'll come along and we'll erase down here like 10% or something like that. So we'll get the lines consistent, and then we'll erase them down to the we'll quote unquote grind them down to the appropriate curve lighting, shadow on the curves is what I should be saying here. And then we'll add another layer on top of this for like here, along here, to have the same grimy, consistent highlight along the curve of the line. I just want to have the striation underneath it, so it feels more like there's a skin over those striations. And it doesn't have to be a slick, tight process. Like we made the goop slick and smooth curves and liquidy, so the interior can be chalkety and rough. The changing the texture is interesting. Food is like that too, you know. Like if you have changes in your texture, it tends to make the meal more interesting. Similar with your illustration, which is why a lot of people have problems like the uncanniness of AI art, is that it is consistently high detailed. And while hyperrealism is something that is celebrated in humans being capable of reproducing things accurately, computers can do that for free. So the artisticness of our artwork is in our imperfections, the humanity of it, the lack of perfection, lack of automated perfection. That's what makes human art stand out from machine art. Machine art looks fantastic, of course, but good artists, good human artists have fantastic looking stuff too. It just takes longer for them to produce it, and it's going to have mistakes. And so that's where your style develops from, your inability to photorealistically produce the world around you. So you have to improvise and find shorthand means of expressing this object or this person or whatever. So you have a style that's pleasant to look at and good enough at conferring information about things that you can't actually illustrate. So you're filling in the gaps, like the like the anime look is a standardized comic look for animation, because hyper-realistic animation is very expensive. So don't have, even though those artists are capable of producing 30,000 frames of hyper-realistic art, it would be ridiculously expensive for the man hours needed to be able to build that. So they create a shorthand anime form of expressive faces that is not only artistic and emotional, but it's efficient and fast to produce. So it's a really great example of how narrative and technical necessity or technical details can complement each other. That's what you call ludonarrative. When the mechanics of something reinforces and improves upon the narrative of that thing, which is a fairly unique art sort of concept. Like, you can't have a ludonarrative of a toaster, because a toaster is just a fucking toaster. A toaster is a toaster, so it can't be anything else. It could maybe also be a fryer, but these are objects. There's nothing to express or describe about them. They're just an object. Meanwhile, like a game that's a role-playing game where you're depicting certain types of characters or different sort of circumstances, the ludonarrative would be the mechanics of that game reinforces the flavor and reflects the concept of what the game or your character or whatever is about. Like a rogue being able to have advantage on stealth checks, like that's a good ludonarrative element. Rogues are specialists, rogues are sneaky, so they can specialize in being sneaky. So here's mechanics for specializing and being sneaky. The narrative is that, yeah, rogues and thieves, they specialize in being sneaky. Here's a game mechanic that makes them more so. That is a strong ludonarrative element. So in art, the style is quick and expressive and aesthetically pleasing, where the mission is to have quick, efficient, aesthetically pleasing final product. So the mechanics of it, the mechanics of the objective are reinforcing each other. Sorry, I'm kind of losing the script here. So I'm gonna just veer away from that conversation before I talk myself into some sort of weird corner. Just get back to work. Yeah, that feels pretty good. Okay, so we can kick on over here and finish these up. And then we'll move on to phase 2 of erasing down some of these details. So they blend into the curve. We'll probably do it with a masking layer. Masking layer, big friend. There, like that. Okay, I'm happy with that. Let's add in our masking layer. So we're going to, let's get there. See, those just disappeared. But it's because of the masking layer. It's just basically, the mask is basically anywhere I paint, it makes it invisible. It's still, the information is still there. It's just now a transparent pixel. So that's going to allow us to erase without destroying any of the details that we have here. So I'm going to drop down to 20%, tends to typically be pretty good. Oops. There, and then I need a masking layer. Here, there we go. Thank you. Thank you very much. And I can bring it back. I can remove the mask with the eraser tool. So I can trim that down to get that curved effect, right? By erasing into it. And then I can use a low opacity eraser to slightly bring it back in. There we go. That feels about right. So we'll do that for the rest of the coils. And we'll move on to the next thing. Bring this down in size here. Just turn it around just to get that slickness, right? It implies like a wetness when you do this shiny, glossy sort of shading effect. I'd like to leave these tentacles completely black, like just because they're necrotic energy, and necrotic energy is black, just black darkness, basically the absence of light. I'd like to do that, but then it would just be a giant mass of black at the bottom of the piece, or I'd have to redesign it in some manner. And this seems to be the best solution I can have to indicate coils of darkness without getting trapped up and doing like some sort of weird like side lighting or something. That just seems to be the best solution here. And since this is underneath that other coil, I get to erase down. Erase down like this. I'm going to hit this just a little bit more. There. That feels pretty good. Here, since it's underneath that other coil, we get rid of most of the highlighting on it to indicate that blocking of light. That, and then, oops, over here again. Lock that in. Good. And back down to here. Hey, that's my 20-minute timer to make sure that we stay on time. So far, so good. We'll start in. We're gonna start in on another a different monster illustration tomorrow. I think I want to get the Spectral Knight. I want to redo the artwork on the Spectral Knight. It's far too passive, and you'll see it if you tune in with me tomorrow. You'll be able to see it. You'll know what I'm talking about. Darken those down. Coil, we'll darken that down, underneath another coil, gonna darken that down, push that out, and okay, that's looking pretty good. I think I want to add some of this back in, get that glossy effect going. There we go. Okay, that looks pretty good. So we're going to call that, we're going to go to the next phase, which is adding in the general layer of slickness, like this. And we're going to keep it at that 20% opacity, so we can scratch this stuff in here, and I can erase it. So see how that just immediately just makes it look more glossy? So we'll add in some little pock marks in here, like we have up in here. There we go. And just chop at it and be a little bit irregular. That's a good effect. It works pretty well. That. Let's add some of this roughness in. That rough texture is coming from me dropping in here and then trying to push that out on top to like make like a curve here. And I don't do it thoroughly and smoothly, so it ends up looking chalky and a little rough. And I like that look for this particular piece. Like that. Just going down the line and just adding in some roughness here. There we go. I actually kind of like that. Pat her down like that. Good. And there. Good. Light smudging. It's a little low. I want to bring it up a smidge. Good. Nah, yeah, that's where we're supposed to be at. Very good. All right, and now we can drop down to the rest of these and do similar. And we have that fade out as it drops underneath the shadow of the tentacle in front of it. Nice. I like this. It's a very calming, meditative place this is. But yeah, so we're going to be back on later on tonight at 6:30 to work on game design. We're going to work on the Spelljammer Kaiju campaign that we're going to play test our Bastion, Kaiju, and Spelljammer Mecha, like Spirit Guardian, Spirit Warrior rules for 5e24. So we're going to build out some of the communities and some more kaiju creatures that might be fun to fight. Spec those out, and yeah, should be a fun time. Oh yeah, and then looking at the procedure process of actually running a round, a Bastion turn in the campaign. Nice, like that. It's pretty good. It's a little off, so I think I want to free transform and then warp it a smidge to bring that down. There we go. Perfect. Smudge that. There, like that. I don't watch a lot of TV, but a new season of The Pit starts today, and I love that show. That is a cool show. If you have not seen The Pit, it is worth your time to invest to find out about it. It's on Paramount. No, HBO. I think it's on HBO. TBS, I think, is the station that actually carries it if you actually use a TV, but streamers we catch it on HBO. I don't know if it's just the first episode or if they're going to drop the whole season. I don't remember how HBO does things anymore. I'll find out tonight. Or no, I don't think I'm actually. Yeah, that's why we're doing game design tonight. I won't get till tomorrow. But yeah, I have time slated for TV Tuesday nights. So I'm really looking forward to watching Pit Season 2. Let's see. Okay, so that's not so bad. Add some more to these, of course, to scum them up a little bit. So we're going to be doing a lot of repetition of this for a little while. I like the H.R. Giger-ness of it. Has that sort of Aliens sort of look to it, I think. I think, anyway. That. This breaks down the striation a little bit, so it's not just like a T-bar crossing an opaque line. It kind of merges it. It makes it seem more of the same structure by implementing this effect. And I can fuzz it out so it has that same curve where it's needed. Here. A little bit of cleanup. Here. Like, I don't like that hard edge right there, so I wanted to soften that a little bit so I could just smudge it a little bit and it softens. There. That's a lot of patience required in producing the art that you want. That's the biggest hurdle we all have with art is production time. It's why AI is popular. It's because it's fast and easy. All you gotta do is ask it to do it for you, and it just does it. It has a very efficient model of work. So if you want to get into manual art, you have to be very, very patient. You have to be okay with a very long process of adding in little details consistently. It's art. It's not an efficient use of time. Its only purpose is to entertain. There we go. Yeah, that feels pretty good. Now we're starting to get some consistent patterning going on. There. That's good. Down here, I just want to push that out a little bit here, smudge that in. Yeah, see, now when you pan back, it has the general look that I want. It has that same level of rough detail. Consistency in your patterning is is as important as the detail or the general look of whatever that pattern is. There's the template, and then there's execution of pattern. The template looks good, and execution of pattern is good. That's fantastic. If one of them is okay, it's eh. You know, you gotta get it right. All right, let's zoom in again. This side over here looks really good. On the left-hand side, over here on the right-hand side, let's just focus in on this, and we'll get done with those. And then the only thing we'll have left is like doing little details, little droopy ropes, little sinew strings hanging off of things. Just make it a little bit more slimy and goopy than it currently is, and that should be able to. We'll be able to finish off the rest of our time doing that. Just say okay. Double check in. Yeah, I'm pretty good with this. Hold on, just a little bit more over here. There we go. A little bit more of this. There we go. Not bad. Okay, cool. So let's see. Dare we compress this all into the same bit? I think we do. We so dare. Hold on. Okay. Yeah, that doesn't change anything. Good. So we can take this down to here. We can trash folder. Now we have these as background. And then we have this as the body. Here's the background. There's our trash. Pop this back open. Oh, hold on a second. There. That's how that should be. Right, so we're going to duplicate this layer, this group. And we're going to merge it all together. So now a single eraser will cut through the entire stack. So that's going to let us nitpick at some details. But we need to have 100% eraser for this job. Thank you. Smooth that out. There we go. Then smooth this out. Oop, that looks rough. So let's smooth that out. Smooth that out. We're doing a lot of smoothing right now. Just getting rid of the rough bits. And then we're going to start like these little droops and like these little hanging ropes and stuff like that. We're going to add that into these new tentacles that we just created. just sawing down the edges a little bit just to make them a little bit more slick. Good. Cool, that looks a little clean now. This looks a little exaggerated. So I want to bring this curve in here like that. There we go. Smooth that out. Yeah, thin this up. There we go. Good. Good. Okay, we have these little pockets in here. Hold on. Let's make sure let's just sweep the perimeter and make sure this this phase is complete before I start working on more detail stuff. That's my 20-minute timer to make sure I stay on course. It also reminds me to take a drink. So I'm going to take 2 sips of water and 1 sip of coffee. I'm sporting decaf these days, but I still love the ritual. Half of drinking coffee is simply the ritual of being awake, not even necessarily the chemical. I missed the ritual, so I brought that back. Do not miss the caffeine. I'm still caffeine free, like 48 days in, I think. Something like that. I need to trim that down and smooth this out to here. There we go. Good. Okay, cool. In here, that looks pretty good. This is a little rough over here, plus we have some nibbly bits. So let's just nip those as we do. Smooth that curve out. Smooth this out. Almost done with this portion. There we go. And then taper this off. There you go. Good. Yeah, this all looks really good. Okay, great. So the shapes are good. Maybe get out of there. Get out of there. Thank you. Just nitpicking this edge here since it caught my eye. Most of this looks really good to go as is. This particular bit just kind of grabbed my attention. There we go. Okay, cool. So that's good. I'm going to save that as is. What time is it? 7:19. We got about 30-ish minutes, 35 minutes-ish. So let's add some goop. So we're good here. We can drop that to there, and where might some goop feel good? Thank you. Thank you. Let's add a little strand. Necrotic snot right here. Curls into the mass. And I'm fine with it becoming obscured inside there. Let's make a little blurb in here. I need elegant lines here, so I'm going to curve that in here like that. Smooth out here. And bring this in. Yeah, like that. Bring this, yeah, let this droop a little bit more. There we go. Get that droopiness going on in there. Tapers off like that. It's a little bit too bulky. I'm going to thin that down a little. There we go. Hey, that feels pretty good. We'll do it like that. Then a little rope of, bring that in like that. Just want to have, I don't want to have any details in this stuff. I just want it to be an outline. Just a silhouette of black. Ishness. Blood's thick, you know, it's liquid, but it's thick. Low viscosity. High? No, yeah, low viscosity. That feels pretty good. Nah, I don't like how that's doing. We'll get rid of that. Let's do like this instead. Yeah, that feels better. Like that. Droop. Like that. There. That was weird. I felt like there was a message that got deleted. Oh well. Gloop, gloop, gloop. There we go. That was looking pretty good. Let's actually bring it up. Yeah, like that. There we go. And we have these dark spots in here. I want to blacken those up a little bit. I can add striations through these here to imply additional coils sneaking around underneath here, but not really providing any detail, just darkening the shadows between the striations. See, like that, I can imply striation without actually having to do any of it. Yeah, like that. I feel like maybe I actually want to do some actual striation in here. What are you all about? What is this stray line? Did I accidentally merge in a stray odd line? I may have. Oh, no, yeah, I see what's going on. There, I need to knock that down. This was originally supposed to be like a tentacle reaching out like this, but it ended up getting kind of overwritten. So now I have to destroy the evidence. That. And let's see. More fanciful stuff that we can do. Bring this in here like that. Yes.
Just entrails, just snaking entrails, overlapping tentacles, overlapping weird spiny things. This is what we're dialing into. Ah. There we go. Like that. Bring this around here. Up, bring it around like that. Thicken that up. Bring that around here, like that. And then we can thin it up. With the curve there. That in here. There we go. Yeah, this is all working out. Working out really, really well. I want to have I think another entrail along here. And something like this. That. There you go. Fun. Super, super fun. I love doing tentacles and coils and stuff like this. It's just really, it's really meditative and relaxing. You know, in a lot of ways, it's funny. Painting is kind of like creating your own stress coloring book, and then coloring it to relieve your own stress. If that makes any sense. There, we'll do that. Add in some black. Nope. Thank you. Black. Bring that in. Here. I'm going to bring that in. So now he's kind of like coiling around the arms. I love that. I think that's really cool. Go. That resolves the arm problem that we were having before about them being passive and held down. Well, now they're actually just like literally being restrained. So what are you going to do? But this is kind of how they died in the first place. So it seems kind of appropriate that they would stick to that theme, right? I'm happy with that. Nice. We're damn near done. We got like 20 minutes left. I'm gonna go ahead and refresh the timer here. Take another deep sip. Cap off my coffee. What's going on this morning, guys? Having a lot of fun here. I'm glad people are tuning in. Hopefully this stuff is entertaining to you. Let's add the background back in here. And I think I need to trim at the edges here a little bit more. Yeah, I'm just gonna cleave through that. I'm gonna push this up here, smudge this in a little bit more, just a label, the level off here, along where the text line is at. I can smudge this in a little bit here, just to tone it down. There we go. Break across here like that. Mostly I want to get rid of this upturned corner here. Nah, I don't know. Maybe I like it. Let's just fuck with this for another few minutes and see how it turns out. There we go. Well, I like how that looks. So yeah, let's just keep this up for another few. See how it turns out. Good. That looks pretty good. Yeah, we'll definitely be able to start on a new piece tomorrow. So we got like 7 more monsters after today. I still have to finish the bottom frame here. I think we're getting really close to working on. I know that working on monsters and like narrative elements, stuff like that, is more entertaining for people to watch. So that's why I've been leaning into doing the more, monster tokens and NPCs and scenery and shit like that. But I also have to work on the technical bits that aren't necessarily as interesting to watch. But I'm liking how this is sitting. Let's duplicate this layer and see what happens. Yeah, I think I like the lesser. So let's do that. How are we doing over here? Pretty good. Let's just take a moment and add in some texture. We're like damn near done here. So I'm gonna drop this to all black, and we're gonna switch to our crystal brush. We're gonna dot some of this stuff in here. Why are you not being affected? Oh, that's cool. I like that. There. Like that. Come on, Kearney. Get that stuff to milk in. I'm using too high of an opacity. I need to drop down the strength to only 30% so I don't have so much impact whenever I push the brush around. Lessen the effect. I like that texturing at the bottom here. That feels good. Okay, cool. So let's keep up with that. Make the brush a little bit smaller to help indicate distance. Let's switch the same brush to erase with. I'm going to use a really low 10% eraser. Like that. And fade that into the grit of the ground in general. What's really important is that I don't let the black of the crystals on the ground outshadow the mass of tentacles that we have here. So I can see the redness in here. I need to drop those down. I need to drop in absolute black in there to get the kind of look and effect that I want. I need to erase a lot of this to have those recede into the background. Chop away at these a little bit here. Nice. A little bit of a gritty texture. I like that. That's what I was going for. Keep hammering away at this back here. And now that tentacle is starting to look darkest again. Perfect. But we saw it, so now we have to fix it. So let's go back to our round brush. And we're working with absolute black right now, so let's add in a new layer into the body up here and have it a separate layer so that we don't have any long-term regrets. I just want to smudge this in. These little gaps in here, just fill them with dark. I don't want to overemphasize. I just want to work some dark into here, just to help deepen the shadows a little bit more. That'll help pop these tentacle things out a little bit without being too obvious. This might be a guitar pick problem. Yeah, let's switch to our guitar pick. There we go. This thing's good for doing little corner bits. Its front nose is sharp, so it pushes pixels really good. The back side of it is fuzzed out, so it's good at blending and blurring. So the tools working, the whole thing working together has a good shape and a feel to it. So I'm gonna blend in through here. Broth. My face. Yeah, we're totally done. This is great. Super happy. We'll pick a new piece to work on tomorrow, and we'll just keep hammering our way through the pile. When we run out of assets, we're done. We did all the monster tokens really early on in the project. Like, I want to say we were working on them like around episode 100, maybe even 70. I'm not positive, but we were working on tokens pretty early on, and the tone of the adventure darkened a little bit along the way. So now the tokens look like the way that they're depicting the monsters right now look honestly like a little silly or like a little cozy, and I wanted to rough them up a little bit, and they're also a lot of them look really passive as well. So I wanted to give them more kinetic presence.
Hey, what's going on? Morning, Fox.
There are always more assets. Yeah. It's just like, okay, so if an adventure is a work of art, as we often say in art, we don't finish a piece, we give up. And that similarly, this adventure, it is, to me, it is art, and it is something that I will just have to give up on. So I'm running out of things I can use as excuses to keep this thing going. And yeah, so hey, good morning. What's up, Fox? And but yeah, so we'll have this one done today, and we'll start in on the next piece tomorrow. And you know, we got like 7 more monsters after this, and most of the other assets that we're working on. That we're working on off screen. We'll just keep working on that. So we're almost at the assembly stage of the document. So very, very close. I have to be careful about adding this black in to not accidentally create an inconsistency. What's up? True that. So what I'm probably going to want to do is back this down a little bit. So it's darker, but not absolute blackness. Yeah, that feels better. I'm okay with this. Triangle that down in there. This little curve in here. Curve up in here. Got a curve up in here. Some stuff going on in there. I think I'm pretty happy with this piece. We can always do more. Like I said, we give up on a piece. At some point, we're like, good enough. You know, is adding blades of grass really going to make this a better piece? No. It's not in this instance. There we go. Good. Go.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty good with that.
Right. Yes. 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 Good. Okay, great. Yeah, this is doing what I want. Sorry, I think there's some sort of internal dialogue happening here in my head. I'm not a full participant in it myself, so don't feel so bad. I can feel the emotional conversation inside myself, like like my sense of contentment versus drive towards perfection. It's like at some point there's a lost value at some point. Like you gotta stop. And I've just about hit that point. I'm just milking off the clock basically. It's 7:50 now, so I can basically be done at any point and be content with what I have done. So I'll be cutting stream here as soon as my muse lets me go. She's a hanger. Just looking for the exit. Let's bring that in a little bit here. Good, good, good. Yeah. There we go. Boop, boop, boo, boo. Good.
All right, there we go. And I think I'm content with this. So yeah, let's go ahead and put the brakes on it. So we'll go ahead and save. Job well done. Congratus. Blood Golem. There. Blood Golem. Cameloth. Bob's your uncle. There's a little nibby bits down in here. What is this page? Page 75. All right, let's go to page 75. I'm going for now. Let's fold that up. We'll go to let's go to our to-do list. It's page 75 on our nibby bits. Nope, let's add it. Page 75. Texture. These are all the pages where I have these like little pinchy corner bits like this that are too small to like actually make an illustration with. But it's too large to ignore. I need to do something with them. And when we rebuild this border, this circle is going to drop down so it doesn't rise above this edge. I don't like this like theater light effect that this is going on. That'll also give this a little bit more room. We'll have this full gap here to be able to, without these bits here, getting rid of those will give this text a little bit more breathing room, but still have a solid base down here. And each of these are going to be navigation buttons. Table of contents, running the adventure, deputized blot hook, part 1, arriving at the village. Here is village, region A. Here's Carnwood Forest, region B. Then part 2, into the mists. Region A of part 2 is the cemetery, the flooded fort, the gatehouse. There is no D anymore. Part 3 is the into the nexus underground, and there is only one region, so we don't have an additional region there. And then we have Appendix 1. NPCs and monsters, Appendix 2, oddities and magic items, and then Appendix 3 is alternate plot hooks.
Part 3 Into the Mist, and then we could have like the section would be the underground facility. I guess I could do that. But yeah, we're working on. We have icons for each of the regions and parts. So we'll be able to fill these areas, like these circles that we drop them down. We'll be able to fill them with the icons that are connected to each of the regions. So that's going to be it for now, guys. It is 7:55 here in Seattle. I'm going to be back in 10 and a half hours to continue working on the Spelljammer, Eberron, Mecha, Kaiju, Bastion campaign that we're building, going to run on my Discord server probably in February. So we're slowly building that out and working out the logistics and the game flow and the DM PC interaction, random encounters, the different settlements that the team will have oversight over in this XCOM 2 style game. It's interesting. I like how it's coming along. So we're going to be building out some more communities tonight. We're going to be creating some more kaiju, or rather, we're going to be taking monsters from the monster manual and we're going to be upscaling them to become kaiju. So you can see how those mechanics work, and we might brush across the mecha mechanics again. I'm pretty happy with how they're sitting. I don't think I actually need to embellish them, but we might take a look at those. That's what we'll be doing tonight. So that'll be 10 and a half hours from now. 6:30 p.m. PST, which is -8 UTC. If you think this stuff is cool, God, I would love to earn your subscription. I stream Monday through Fridays in the morning doing artwork, Mondays and Thursday nights and Saturday mornings doing game design, and when I run a playtest, it's either on Saturday, Monday, or Thursday. So since I'm not actively running a playtest right now, I have 3 streams per week. Once the playtesting starts, we'll drop to 2 streams a week. And yeah, so stick around. AMA, my Discord's linked down below. I've got a bunch of books on DMsGuild that all have free previews chock full of my art and ideas. Check those things out. You can follow me on Patreon if you want to support me that way. God bless you, everyone that's swung by. And I will see you at tonight for game design and tomorrow morning to start on a new monster. So see you guys then. Cheers.